Morning guys. So short little video, or kind of short little video. I want to talk about this thing. It's that Mercury Comet that trying to think what they call themselves. AutotopiaLA. I think that's how they call it. Video, that they just put up there a few days ago, and there's been a bit of discussion about it. Yeah, really dumb driver. Really silly mistakes. So if you don't know, basically they did a video on this. Must have done all the footage and everything. They were driving down. Must have been went for a drive. I don't think they'd gone terribly far, but they must have pulled up to the first set of lights after they left the building, and the guy said, "Oh shit, the throttle's stuck. It won't come back past. It's sitting about 2,200 revs or whatever it was. It won't come back." So he must try to give it a couple of blips on the throttle, and it still wouldn't come back. That's where I would have just, when the light went green, pulled across the road, or driven it away, flicked the ignition off, got into the side of the road or off the side of the road somewhere before you got any fucking speed up. That was his first mistake, totally first mistake. Because as soon as something like that happens and it won't come off, especially in a car with 1,300 horsepower. I've driven a lot of cars with some grunt, not huge grunt, but a decent amount of horsepower, 400, 500, 600 horsepower. I've driven a few cars around that, like race cars and other sorts of stuff, like when I was in Tasmania. These guys bought this Falcon ute up to me with a Barrett 6 turbo in it. It's about 650 odd horsepower at the wheels. And they said, "You be really careful with this thing when you bring it back," because it was an auto. And he said, when it comes on boost, he said the frickin' thing just wants to take off. So just be careful. So yeah, and I did, cruise down the road, and as soon as it got to about 2,000 revs, the thing just wanted to come on boost and just move. Like it did, you could just feel it just want to pull sideways. So you just lift off and then just click it through the gears, just to keep it at a gentle frickin' subdued pace, because easily to get out of control with that sort of horsepower, especially when you're not used to driving it. Obviously that guy been driving it around for a while. I've seen these couple of videos on it, a few months ago, quite a few months ago, not 9 months ago, 10 months ago sort of type thing. So he's obviously driven it around a little bit, but it's obviously got some issues, or had some issues. So yeah, if the throttle's sticking, fix the fucking thing, because it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And the next stupid thing is that he obviously drives down the next section of road until they come up to the next frickin' intersection where they have the accident. So yeah, here he is with his foot on the brakes, trying to keep the thing at a decent speed. Well, that's just dumb as fuck, because all you're going to do is the brakes heat up, boil the fluid, and then when you want to stop, like they did, it's not going to fucking stop, because the brakes are gone, totally gone. I don't care what size brakes you got, they're gone. Wouldn't matter, because it also didn't look like the brakes were terribly big. Like we started building it quite a long time ago, and it looked like it had wall-wood brakes on it, but they could have been a lot bigger than what they were. They looked like they might have been like 13-inch rotors, or might have been 12-inch rotors or something like that. They're a bit bigger than obviously stock standard, for sure, but weren't anything spectacular. You see bigger brakes on most cars with 16-inch wheels, sort of type 17-inch wheels, quite normally nowadays. So they weren't big by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, if you're going to drive down the road with a thing trying to push forward all the time, stuck at 2,200 revs and won't drop below, and you've got your foot on your brakes, where you're just asking for a fucking disaster. So yeah, as soon as that throttle stuck at the lights, I would have just switched it off, wait for the lights to go green, fired it up, pulled it over to the side of the road somewhere, got off the side of the road into a parking lot, wherever you could get somewhere that was safe. Frickin' half the motor's hanging out the bonnet, so at least get the bonnet up or hood up and have a decent look, see what the fuck's going on, and see if you can rectify the problem and then go for another drive, or at least test it in the parking lot and just make sure it's not sticking. You know, sort it out. Like, you don't do that sort of shit. And if that did happen to happen and you're driving down the road and your throttle's stuck and you're coming up to lights, I'm not talking in this situation, but say you're driving down the road and all of a sudden your throttle's stuck and here you are trying to stop. First thing I would have done is flick the fucking key off so the thing's not pushing. And I know it's not always easy with some of those ratchet type shifters and shit like that, but try and get it down through gear like Uncle Tony said. I watched his video. And I also watched Dan from DD Speed Shop video. So yeah, get it fucking thing down through the gears. It will try to at least get it in the lower gear, so it's going to engine brake because the engine's not trying to turn itself over. It's, you know, it's shut off. Worst thing you get it done is leave the fucking thing running. Just try and get it down through your gears. At least the engine's not pulling you along. Jamming the thing in the park like you did. You're just never going to do anything at 50 miles an hour. You may as well throw the fucking shifter out the fucking window. The other dumb thing I've realised in this after watching this video, they were saying the fucking thing had no park brake or emergency brake or handbrake. So that car would never, ever been on the road here in New Zealand or Australia. Like, it's probably a show car, obviously, but you need some sort of fucking second braking, because at least you could have flicked the thing, because the front brakes would have been the one that were boiling. Obviously the back brakes would have been working too, but if you flicked the ignition off, at least pulled the handbrake off, you might have got down to 20 frickin' miles an hour before you hit, because the thing wouldn't have been driving forward, and the back brakes pull would have at least locked up, and decent sized wheels in the back, it would have slowed it down somewhat. So yeah, that's fucking stupid, absolutely stupid. So really, yeah, it's a bit of a shit situation. I feel sorry for the guys being involved in the accident, but just totally dumb shit happened there. One, when the car was built, should have had a fucking e-brake, handbrake, whatever you want to call it, park brake. Two, when it first happened, shut the fucking thing, get it off the side of the road, sort it out. And you'd never fucking ride your brakes if the car's trying to push you along, because you'll just run out of brakes. You know, be different if you're out in the open road and something like that, and you were able to get up to highway speed, and then you might be able to blip the throttle a few times and try and get it to come back. You know, because you're not doing 50 miles an hour, you're doing 70 or 80, you know, or whatever. You're not in 2,000 rears. Yeah, you might have been going a bit quick, but at least you wouldn't have been in the situation where you were coming up to another stop. You might have got it off, you know, but you wouldn't have to have your foot on the brakes either. And at that point, then you could have switched it off and slowed it down because you would still have brakes. But yeah, totally dumb, totally freaking dumb, absolutely dumb. So anyway, yeah, go watch the video. Just fucking shake your head. And the guy in the passenger seat didn't really say anything, and he's supposedly a mechanic. I quite enjoy his videos. I don't watch his videos much, but I see them pop up every now and again. When something interesting, I'll have a look. But yeah, that's just dumb.